Hey, what's good, everybody? Welcome to another live session with the Hype Magazine. I'm your editor-in-chief, Jerry Dovey, and today, we have been trying to connect for a conversation for almost 6 or 7 months. I have an amazing medical professional, Dr. Natasha Weems, and some of you may have known her by another name, but she's Weems now. That's what we're going with. We're going to have fun with it. I've been watching this lioness on Instagram provide inspirational messages, visual representations of super class, super Black woman excellence. We have to acknowledge that our women have been our backbone, not only throughout the 400 years of slavery, but we're talking about economic downturns, and as a community being downtrodden, we've always looked to our women to lift us up, and to have someone as powerful as Dr. Weems, who just goes by Dr. Natasha on social media, present constantly great pictures, motivational pictures, high-end luxury kind of things, and say, you don't have to. Well, we don't. It goes without saying that she's fully clothed, damn it, and she's telling you how to be a woman, how to be a great human being, and some of the lessons even apply to males. If we pay attention, we become better people when we listen to our women. So thank you, Dr. Natasha, for being with us today.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, I'm kind of crazy. I'm kind of wild, but I will be respectful because you've earned it as a human being. You've earned it as a Black woman. You've earned it as a woman. Take the race out of it. And as a professional, the journey that you have gone through to get where you are, it's very inspiring to me as a person as well. So let's just kick it off like we talked about, from the inside looking out. How do you see Dr. Natasha?
I see someone that's very compassionate, from early on, just being very emotionally intelligent. I was surrounded around nurses in my family, but having a personal encounter with medical situations, it led me even more so on my journey in the medical field. So I was born and raised in Detroit, and I
What up,
really
though?
city. What up, though? So I'm really excited to talk about my journey, and I'm really excited to talk about some of the barriers I've encountered to inspire other women to not give up, to just put one foot in front of the other and just keep going regardless of what you encounter in life. So just representation and seeing other women in your community or from your community that's accomplishing goals and being a mentor, I think that really helps other people, on their track or on their road to success.
What was the benchmark moment? Do you remember when you made the determination to go into the medical field?
Yes. So growing up, I did want to go in a medical field, but it wasn't until actually being around in a environment in a hospital after giving birth to my first child and having a connection with a nurse that was very unexpected. She was just very like welcoming and just understood that I was a young mother at the time and taking her time out with providing education and breastfeeding tools and guides. And it was just very eye-opening to see how much she changed that day for me, from a person that was so upset and having anxiety, and from her having just a display of compassion. It really just made me understand and realize how impactful it can be going in that field. It really changed the outcome of my whole pregnancy and my hospital stay.
it has to be, you know, a unique connection when you're taking care of someone's health, and at some point you lock eyes, and they're they're without even saying, they're like, I really need you, and thank you for being here for me. Thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for your, do they say bedside manner now in the medical profession anymore? You know, with this politically correct stuff, I have to be sure. Um, I know from personal experience that you know, having suffered trauma, looking, you know, waking up after surgery, and the first person that you see, you know, and for me it was a little different. I'm coming back from, you know, war, and got hurt, waking up from surgery and going, oh, I'm hit. And that person having that firm but calm demeanor, saying, you're okay. Look around, you know, see the lights, see my face,
Right.
you're safe. And, you know, being able to utilize that skill. How did you, first of all, you know, develop, or how did your empathy for human beings evolve to the point where you could make this a career?
Growing up in my environment, I was exposed to a lot of, you know, possible turmoil. Just, you know, there's drug infestation in some of the neighborhoods, and my mother being a compassionate individual and bringing in some of our own relatives that battled drug addiction. So with me personally being exposed to that and experiencing that in my community and understanding how it can break down the structure of a family and how it can impact children along their life, it just really help you become more compassionate and be understanding from both sides and pretty much hold your judgment. We all, you know, have to walk in faith and try to inspire others. And especially when you have someone that battles drug addiction, holding that judgment, because some people are self-medicating, some
Mhm.
people have trauma, some people were in the war, you know, so everybody has a background. And I think in many situations people feel judged, and so that's another reason why they don't go in for help, or they don't feel the courage to,
Mhm.
because afraid of how they will be viewed. So understanding from both sides how that might be, it really allows me to really connect with my patients on a deeper level.
Do you ever get overwhelmed um, with a situation or a person and their situation that you're dealing with, as you're helping them navigate the maze, the health, the recovery maze, and treatment maze? Because I noticed that, you know, you deal with a pretty sensitive, sometimes segment, you know, with adult gerontology and primary care, that, you know, people are going through all kinds of things. So do you ever get overwhelmed personally? Or are you able to flip the switch off and separate it, and like, this is what I do, this is not necessarily who I am? Is that the right question?
No, I understand what you're asking, because there is a professionalism that you need to guide you in situations, but we are human.
Right.
And you're in the healthcare field, and just like when we were battling COVID, that was very overwhelming. Returning to work after childbirth,
Mhm.
it was at the beginning of the pandemic, and I returned right at the hit of the pandemic. And
Okay.
so people in the hospital and just losing so many colleagues, and it just really changed the whole dynamic and everything, that the expectations of the medical field, right? Because everything was very structured. And when the COVID pandemic hit, it just really turned our world upside down. So that experience was very overwhelming. being a person in the field and seeing so many people pass away. Many weren't even able to have their family at the bedside because of the restrictions and because of how unaware we were of the disease process at the time. So it
Mhm.
was devastating seeing that, and just everything, hospital policies being changed and, right before your eyes, and, just trying to manage
Mm.
this, this pandemic. It was really frightening, but it was very overwhelming just to see that amount of death.
Right. We all know that we're going to die alone. Nobody can take that journey with us. But to die lonely has to be one of the most horrifying, horrible things to witness another human being go through. And there's nothing that you could do. You can't reverse their course, but there's nobody there to hold their hand that's not wearing a glove, a mask, a bonnet, and a gown.
That is true.
And there's
And
only so much personal connection you can make with that person at the time.
right. So that whole process was very overwhelming.
Mhm.
And, just we all put through. And so just looking at healthcare providers from that perspective, you just really gain a higher level of respect of everything they had to encounter going in to take care of other people diagnosed with a disease that many weren't even aware of how, devastating it would actually be. And then going home to your own family and
Mhm.
possibly traveling with the same disease that you picked up at work or contracted. So it was very, overwhelming during that time. I think that was the most overwhelming part of my professional journey thus
So
far.
we're going to go on record with a subject matter expert. All that garbage y'all talking about, COVID is this, COVID is that, it wasn't real. Dr. Weems is just telling you about her personal experience with COVID and the devastating effects it had on our community. She personally witnessed, treated, comforted, and walked people through the stages of checking out, basically, to, put in a raw term. So, the next person I hear that's in my face that says COVID wasn't real and it's a hoax, I'm gonna direct them to this conversation and say, we weren't there, she was, and she's telling it like it TI is from her perspective as a practicing medical professional. I got to brag on your education too. So people are like, well, who is she? Well, shut up and listen. She's a highly educated provider. She holds a bachelor's degree in communications from Wayne State University. Therefore, she's able to talk to you, understand. She's an aggressive listener. She's emphatic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So that part is covered. Then she got her Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Oakland University. She's a board certified nurse practitioner with, once again, the certification in adult gerontology primary care. She's who they come to see and handles the main platter of whatever's being served up in your health. She's got a master's degree in nursing. She's got a doctor of nursing practice degree that enables her to provide like comprehensive primary care for adults across the entire lifespan, right? So, from the time they're 18 to 50, hey, everybody who's 50 male knows what happens at 50, right?
Right.
They start making these demands of us. No, we need to check this. No, leave me alone. But she handles it all the way through. And her clinical expertise focused on comprehensive primary care and acute care, that includes diagnosis, evaluation, management, and coordination of care for acute and chronic conditions. Kicker, she was a professor in Michigan, University of Michigan, and she's currently taken that experience and her entrepreneurial spirit, and she's the CEO of Care First Wellness Med Spa in Southern California. So, doctor. She's not a medical doctor, but everybody knows a nurse practitioner is as good as any combat medic in the field. They can do everything the doctors could do, diagnose you, see you, and, you know, she's qualified. Amazing.
Thank you,
Yeah, I'm
Jerry.
impressed. Yes, I'm impressed. I told you I was a little crazy. I hope you didn't want it to just be like, you know, totally serious, because I want to have fun. I want to celebrate you. I want to celebrate what you bring, you know, to the table, and the visuals that you give. I've seen you at these luxury luncheons and networking events. You know, Jacqueline Kennedy ain't got nothing on this sister. Michelle Obama ain't got nothing on this sister. When she steps out at one of these events, she presents well. And this is someone I want my daughter to look at. And like, she's a professional, she's a lady, and she's representing us as a people. All right, too much fanboy stuff, right? Okay, fine. So let's talk about your entrepreneurial move with Care First Wellness Med Spa.
Yeah.
And you know, from being a teacher to your own business.
I have
Talk to me.
I have quite the journey of precepting throughout my professional career, and I was a professor. I taught pharmacology and nursing and nurse practitioner programs, etc. But I decided to, and I've been a behind the scenes consultant for many businesses, but I decided to launch my own. And I think throughout life, we tend to have this fear sometimes because you want to build a strong foundation. And that was always my belief, is that I want to get my education. I want to get this. I want to build a strong foundation. And then I realized I have to execute, because then you'll be on a hamster wheel. So I decided to go ahead and launch my business. And when I tell you, living in California and this new journey has been amazing. I feel like I'm evolving and just really excited to see what's in store for me next. Networking with some amazing people. And I just, you know, I'm very, very humbled. And I just thank God that I'm able to listen to him and use my discernment. You know, I've always been very tenacious, but I'm really like accelerating that. I'm leveling up.
You know what? When you're a go-getter and you're driven, as you put work clothes on your dreams, right? And you went to the construction site, you built your foundation, and here you are now, this towering plaza of medical expertise, excellence, etc. You know what I mean? When you get to this point, it has to be a moment of celebration for you. You know, you're making this mark in industries, several industries that are, you know, were once dominated by men. But now, and I have to just go on and put it on our shoulders, right? We as men have irritated our women to the nth degree, through a lot of legal nonsense that's, you know, going on. And as you're fighting from the inside out, what have been some of the most challenging moments or highlights for you on this journey?
Encountering people that really are discouraging, and I'm very optimistic. So instead of coming out as pessimistic or telling me obstacles or barriers or why you can't do something, I'm more interested in solutions. And that's just who I am. And that's a part of being a leader. And so, and sometimes people don't know how to take that. And I'm optimistic. And so when you're on this journey and people will project their own fear, and sometimes they don't even know that they're doing that.
Mm,
So countering that along the journey and just understanding that just keep going and have faith, because whatever somebody else went through or what their barriers were, that might not be your situation. And so I understand that. I've been through a lot along my journey. I've encountered a lot of barriers. There's been a lot of background on my end where I've been in situations where there wasn't a lot of diversity. And so going through that transition and phase of life, it made me stronger. It made me more confident. And so I think going through the journey, that's been a barrier for me, encountering people that have tried to provide even more barriers or tell you what you can't do.
mm.
That's motivation though, actually. Oh, I
Yeah,
can't.
I can't. Say
I
what? Right. Watch this. I can show you better than I can tell you. And she's showing and
can't.
proving. Um, look, you've had some major appearances. Appearances. Wow. Ah, She Magazine, Black Health, Los Angeles Magazine, and more. I would like to know, is there a question about your journey or your mission that we in the media have failed to ask you that you've always wanted to address?
Just pretty much collaborations and how we can help women, not only just Black women, but women to actually utilize platforms and gain access to platforms that really want to empower and inspire other women who are encountering exclusions from different investing or gaining access to funds, because we already know financial stability is one of the foundations of building businesses and having access to different opportunities. So just having those, that dialogue of how to empower me, empower others, because it's important to be able to access platforms like this. Yeah, and it's very impactful when you're able to get your voice heard and across many different walks of life and different groups of people. So I really do appreciate you for having me.
It was a mission, and I believe I reached out to you first. Like, hey, I really want to, do a profile on you. Would you allow me to do that? And you said, yeah. So that was months ago, and then things just went haywire and et cetera, et cetera. And we weren't able to make it happen. But I never forgot about the impact, that first moment of seeing something that you were doing on social media. I'm like, that is someone that we must support. This is someone that we must, utilize our resources to help, aid, and assist and become a resource for her, because she's giving so much to the community, not only as a person, but your business as a corporate citizen. Your business is reaching out and picking up, the gauntlet for young ladies and showing them a different way. Look, when I said style and class, I meant all of that. I'm talking about Lena Horne class. I'm talking about, oh my God, class and power. And when she speaks, she's not over talking. She's not, talking above anyone. She's very direct, appears to be an aggressive listener to understand what the other person is presenting. And then, like she said, based on her experience, she can deliver solution-based responses. We can't help but support that. You know what I mean? This is no shade room. This is no Did I say that? I'm sorry. Uh, I'm gonna have to cut that out because I really like her. She's an entrepreneur as well. But anyway, I always want to give people an opportunity to just tell their story and not me tell it for them. So if we had to pick, and we're going to get to something, that she's also doing, not only on the okay, healthy choice, aesthetics, and weight loss, making healthy choices for aesthetics and weight loss. So not only is she handling, like critical care things and long-term care things, she's, okay, well, you're looking at God's art right there. Now she's sharing her expertise and techniques to help you make choices that make you comfortable in your skin, help you with maybe a healthy weight change. Talk to me about that mission.
Oh, definitely. I really enjoy this new chapter of aesthetics, health and wellness, weight loss control, management. I have worked with the homeless population, and I've even encouraged that population to entertain having going vegan or just making different healthier meal options. And so I feel like if I can meet that challenge,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm prepared. But I do hair loss rejuvenation, skin care, facials, medical skin peels, things like that, any anti-aging. So it's been really, really rewarding because this is something that's been different. I've worked in a critical care unit, I've worked in primary care, I've worked in acute care. So working in the beauty industry, which is breaking through $1 billion industry, and we all know that there's not a lot of representation, there's not a lot of injectors that look like us. So it really is encouraging, and it inspires me to just like really want to go in this direction when I see other women posting and encouraging and using their platform to educate other women on how to even enter the business, right?
Mm.
Because it can be fearful, the fear of the unknown, but it's really something that is really exciting. And I have a lot of patients that enter the clinic with high risk for diabetes and just really afraid, high risk chronic conditions, and wanting to really change their life. I'm a provider that really likes to sit down and look at the labs and look at the health history. I know that there's a lot of trend with a lot of the weight loss medications, but that is not my driving force for prescribing. I do prescribe appropriately. I do order blood work, and I'm not ordering these medications because a person wants to be a size 4. But when you're ordering from that aspect and you're really changing someone's life, it's really rewarding. And to see the outcome of that, someone has a high A1C, which is putting you at risk for diagnosis of diabetes. It really, is rewarding to see the outcome of that. So
I'm diabetic. I'm gonna tell you, that's life changing. When I found out that I was full blown, I was almost dead. My A1C was at 16, and my glucose was somewhere around 700. The lady says, "You drove yourself here?" I was like, "Yes." She says, "You could have died getting here." Oh, really? First shot of, I've been taking like metformin, right? Um, just to keep it down. That was my first shot of insulin. And I'm like, what? But as you said, making healthy choices, a little change in diet. I got a little exercise thing that I try to do, you know what I mean? And it's made a difference. The insulin level is down now. They replaced it with Jardiance, something else. And that helped me lose the weight. So I lost like 35 pounds. And, it helps control. So is that kind of the technique, a mix of techniques that you use? Now here, I got to make this complaint. and you can maybe take her side. They sent me to this nutritionist person who talked to me about the V word, and I'm a meatitarian. Okay, bottom line, I want dressing on my salad. I don't want to dip my fork in the dressing and then get me a piece of salad. That's not fun. She told me I couldn't eat fried pork chop. Come on now. Holler at me about why the vegan lifestyle may be such a huge, game changer and life extender.
I first want to say that even though you're vegan, that does not necessarily mean that you're healthy.
Okay.
It's just a direction to go in when you're trying to make healthier lifestyle decisions.
Okay.
So we have unhealthy vegans because obviously you can eat French fries, you can eat a lot of like fried carbs or
Okay.
just carbs period and still be considered vegan, right? So I think it's a lifestyle change.
Okay.
It's about understanding the carb content or carb counting or understanding protein intake and understanding how much you're consuming and making the decision of what to select for your meal options. So vegan is trending, but I tell people there are people that are vegan and still it doesn't mean that you're healthy. But just understanding that you can make healthier meal options or choices and exercising, implementing exercises that those are things that are going to equip you with trying to change your chronic conditions if that's what you're facing, or if you're at risk for hyperlipidemia or hypertension. Yeah, that's going to help with prevention, just understanding that. So I don't tell people just become vegan. It's really a mindset. It's really changing the way you view food. Some people eat for comfort, some people have depression. So it's important to understand why people are obese or why they're at risk for certain diseases, because then you can really identify what direction to go in. Some people do have depression or underlying mental health. Some people have thyroid disorder. So just because someone is overweight, you just have to really identify that. And that consists of really taking a really deep, thorough health history. And then you can really go with a plan of care that would be most beneficial and try to target what we can do to really change that and how to identify that. So,
I'm taking what you're saying very seriously. I don't want to live forever, but I would like to live a long time. But, losing my pork chopitarianism is going to be very difficult for me. I don't eat French fries because, strangely enough, a small pack of French fries will shoot my glucose through the roof. I'll be at almost 300 from a small order of French fries. They're not playing with that. You know what I mean? But I have explored some of the things, and there's a young guy named you might know him, Tebe Atkins. He's a young vegan guy and vegan chef, and one of them yoga guru kids. Just turned 18. Amazing. Saved his mother. She had breast cancer and metastatic cancer, and the change in life and diet made a big difference. So you're inspiring people, and not judging. Like you said, you haven't judged me yet on one of my meat jokes, which is good. I feel good. I could trust you. Anyway, what is the most satisfying for you thus far, uh, not only in your medical journey, but in your entrepreneurial success?
just really challenging myself. And when you're in the role of a leader, watching other people really along their journey and accomplishing goals and success. When I was younger, I took in a young lady I met on my journey, and she was really challenging some issues in life, really having some mental health issues, and to be able to like take her in and really provide her with love, a different environment filled with, education and career objectives, and just showing her different things that she could read for self-care, self-improvement, changing her mindset, and to watch her progress in life. Eventually, she moved out, went to college, and just doing really well in life. To be a part of that, to understand that your legacy is not about what car you can drive or how pretty you can look, but how do you really change someone's life?
Mhm. Mm.
That is so rewarding and so fulfilling. So coming from an environment or coming from Detroit and knowing that some people are groomed to be drug dealers,
Mm.
people don't understand that. Just imagine a little boy being groomed and raised to sell drugs, but yet are being judged by society. So being able to be encouraging or being a positive impact on someone's life or changing their trajectory, that's very rewarding.
To whom much is given, much is required. You're serving it up in spades, though. I just have to say thank you for what you're doing um, as a leader in the community, in the health community, and you know, as a collateral part of what you're doing, the mental health space. Helping people become secure in themselves for themselves
Right.
is something. It takes a special hand to guide someone through that maze, in my opinion. I don't have it, um, but I can recognize it in others. And I've been the recipient of
Of-
of that. So appreciate you doing it. I want to support you as much as I possibly can. No strings, nothing funny. This is just a human being that we need to support. This is a professional that's providing something for the community. Not she's got to make her bread. I mean, I know what my student loans look like. I can only imagine what her. So, she got to make her bread, but you could tell it's from the heart. It's from life experience. Um, you know, and she's seen, views from the streets to the suites, and that's what we need in our leaders. You gonna run for politics?
I'm
You don't have to
not.
answer that question. You really don't. You really don't.
I've had family that were,
Mm.
really involved, and I've been encouraged, but that is something that I've been in a different direction and more medical and more, just using some of that experience and knowledge. But that is an interesting question, though. Very interesting.
Well, don't they have political medical physicians? The biggest political medical professional I know was Dr. Fauci. But I know that, you know, within the school systems and the state health systems and boards and things like that, that they need people that know what the hell they're doing. Um, you feel me?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
understand and remember what it's like to be human. Remember what it's like to go through pain, to go through illness, and help others, navigate that. So, not bureaucrats, but really subject matter experts who've done the job. People clown and say, oh, those who can't do teach. No, those who did and learned it are now teaching the next generations. Respect the evolution. And so you've been in the political office as a medical, you know, state surgeon general or something. Like, I could see that. I'd get out there and knock, 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 knock. Who'd you vote for?
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, this sister is making it. I appreciate you. So you have a long journey and history of helping, of educating and inspiring people, and you've got a project coming out. you don't have a working title, but a book that obviously is a personal mission for you, and you got some things to get off your chest and put it into perspective. How deep are you going to go into your journey, and really what is the focus? I understand, it's a lot of affirmations and inspirational thoughts and things like that, but talk to me about the book.
The book is really discussing some things that I've really encountered in life. And whenever you go through a storm in life, having just something that you can really reflect on and really, use as a guide or a source, I feel like that was one of the reasons for writing the book. I felt that God was asking me to tell my story. I have a child that's autistic, and I really have firsthand understanding what the red tape is and understanding how so many resources exist, and yet parents don't even know about them.
Mm.
I talk about all of that. I talk about, just even having a special needs trust. Some people don't even know the difference between just like a regular trust and having a special needs trust, where children with special needs can still be eligible for certain benefits from the state.
Mm.
And so you have to be able to seek legal advice and create a special needs trust to protect your child. And it's just really giving you that mental encouragement to actually equip you with going on that journey, because it's like, hey, I understand. I've been there. I know what that looks like. And yet, when you go through this season, this is a different way to view that season, a different perspective. This is a guide. This is a direction you can go in. Life can be overwhelming, but you have people that are here to support you. You have people that want you to be able to join networks, a community. And I list a lot of those resources in the book, because sometimes when and I come from a military family. I'm a military spouse, actually. So I respect your service,
Thank
and
you for your service. We need you.
yeah. So traveling and being able to just pick up wherever you go and just start over from scratch. You have to be very resilient being a military spouse or being in that type of environment or that family,
Right.
because you build a network, you build a community, you build friendship where you're at. Okay, so now you're getting ready to go to the other side of the country. And sometimes it's not perfect. The military will try to give you resources, but sometimes you have to be able to gather your own resources and know how to guide through that. And when you get a no, find out how to get a yes.
Mm.
Use your intuition. And so that would be me. I would, even when I was raising my child and they were telling me, oh, there's nothing wrong with your child. Well, she's not meeting her milestones. Something doesn't seem right. She's not doing this, she's not doing that. And you have someone that's telling you that they've been in the medical field for 30 years. It doesn't matter how long someone's been practicing or how prestigious they are. If you feel like something is going on with your family member, your child, or yourself, please advocate. And I tell people that all the time. Listen to yourself, and also go to a provider that's going to listen. It's a collaboration, not a dictatorship. You need to be at an office or with a provider that's going to listen to you and really iron out the information that you're telling them, and get to the bottom line, because early prevention is key.
Mm.
That's how I will gain access to resources, to early intervention, education, therapy, speech therapy, that can change the outcome of their entire life or how they can progress. So,
I've heard, thank you for addressing that, because I've heard that, a lot of women, not just Black women, although it may be more prevalent among Black women, is that the providers aren't really listening to the patient. And, they're missing clues that they should be picking up. Sometimes maybe even just looking somebody in the eye and said, "Oh, your eye color ain't right. We need to look at this." You'll pick those things up if you're really paying attention, and not just a mill or an assembly line providing pills and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, let's go do this test. Well, that test costs $86,000. Okay, 20%, of that, for the average working family, if you don't have TRICARE or, Medicare or something like that, that's impossible. But if you could just stop looking at your charts in the computer and look at the human being in front of you,
That's right.
oftentimes you might pick up little nuances or tidbits of information from their physical presence. I'm not lecturing y'all. I'm sorry, I'm not lecturing y'all.
No, you are telling the truth. And that's one of the things I really encourage. And that's what I spread the word on that too, advocating. I see so many people that enter the doctor's office and they're so afraid or so fearful to speak up or, identify things that are going on because they don't want to appear to not seem like they know what they're talking about or to seem like they're not intelligent or educated. And so just advocating for yourself and for your family member, it is really key. And I do promote that. And especially, family members that have children or family members with special needs or developmental delays, autism, mental health disorders, you have to access a network. You have to be resilient. It
Mhm.
is everything out of you. You have to iron through all of the resources and to gain access to those resources. But
Mhm.
they're there. You just have to know about them, right?
Yeah. Sometimes we don't know what questions to ask, but oftentimes, like, just here we have Dr. Natasha here. She's available on social media. I see her engaging all the time. Just start by saying hi and, you know, reading maybe some of her publications, reading some of the research that she's put out, read just maybe some of her social media posts and say, okay, this will give me some foundational questions to go to my provider with. This is a goal that I'm trying to achieve. If you can't get to her, in Detroit, if you can't get to her in California, someone like her, but at least do the research to educate yourself, understand kind of what you're going through so you can address that with your providers. Nowadays everybody's got like 5 or 6. I know I got 7. I got 7 providers at the VA. Ain't that crazy? All I need is one good doctor. That's where I look at it. Anyway, that's me being me. But so I'm amazed at your journey. I want to thank you. I'm honored that you took the time and you had the patience to wait on me. Um, I don't use the word humble because for me, that's a social construct that allows other people to be comfortable with your success. So I say grateful. Um, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to talk with people at your level, um, who are leaders and shining be, don't make me sing this little light of mine. Don't make me do it. Okay. She's shining and it's important. It's not all fluff and fun. You know what I mean? Social media is not, there's some gems there. And Dr. Natasha, caught my attention with the gems, and then, the collateral benefit for that was to see the elegance and the Black excellence. Yes, I'm going to say Black excellence. People get tired of it, and screw you, CRT people. We are Black. We have overcome much. No
Yes.
matter how you try to change the terminology, the narrative of slavery being beneficial. Well, yeah, I'm not going to go there. Anyway, this sister right here is making a difference for our people. Bigger than that, she's making a difference for humanity as she encourages diversity, conversations between women of all walks, all flavors. I think she should run for office. I'm gonna move back to California and register, or write you in on the ballot. Look out November, Dr. Natasha Weems. For what? I don't care. Secretary of Health, something. Let's get some people who actually care about the people and not just the business. The book, no title. Do you have a timeline? Do you have?
Oh yeah, releasing my book in within a month or so. So it will be coming soon. And I'm excited. I hope that when people read this book, it resonates and they understand that they can utilize these services, build a community, tap into your network, tap into your resources. I know when you're, facing different obstacles, it can seem overwhelming, but just taking one day at a time, trying to plan out your day, trying to plan out your goals, and just tackling one thing at a time. But reading this book, I just hope that it's, very encouraging and it motivates others to want to go on their journey, but with courage.
Are there any new serious medical issues that are impacting and afflicting the Black community that maybe we're not hearing about on major channels at this point?
I like to say there's nothing new under the sun, but I don't know that if people are, like you said, some people are not taking COVID serious or when the pandemic hit serious, but it is it's back and people are coming in more frequently with some diagnosis of COVID. Although it's not as devastating, I'm not saying as devastating outcomes as before, but just still protecting yourself, making sure that you are going to the doctors and taking care of yourself and getting early treatment so it's not progressing into pneumonia and becoming more difficult to manage. But mostly just nothing new under the sun, but just making sure that you're protecting yourself and doing everything that you can to provide self-care.
Okay. Stay tuned with this lioness right here. She's at all the conferences. You just at the glamorous Atlanta conference in August. You were, guest panelist. Um, you
Glam. It was fun. That was fun. I love being in a room with women that are talking about their journey,
uh,
um, battling, parents that were having drug addiction and just making it out of those situations and really keeping their mental health intact. And then being a source of encouragement for other women. I love that. I love that just like genuine energy and positivity. So that was a really amazing experience.
okay. So Marietta, California is where the Care First Wellness and a med spa is located. Are you still doing clinicals as well, hospital stuff, or just are you focusing on your own spa?
I do both.
Okay.
I do both, and so I stay really really busy, and
Ah,
for speaking engagements and it took some time to work on my book and kind of iron out what you want to kind of like reveal and what you don't. So that can be challenging in itself writing a book, but it was an experience. I'm just like
really?
I'm like
What
should I
what did you
do this?
relearn about yourself when you were writing this book?
I love life. I love life. And regardless of everything I've been through, God will talk to you and he will use you.
Mm,
And sometimes you might think someone is the enemy and they're not. So I just learned to like have a different perspective and just really just take one day at a time because I've had some overwhelming times in life, but I really love life. And I'm just so thankful and so grateful for all the opportunities and everything I was able to experience and the people I was able to impact. And, I've had food programs where I've made, developed distribution sites to feed the homeless population. And just being a part of that is just very like, it's necessary, it's needed. So I love being a part of that. And so I can't wait to join an organization and do that here
Mhm.
because I'm very involved when I was back home in Detroit. So I love that. Like that is important. And it's important to tell your story and encourage other people on their journey and to give back without judgment. Hold your judgment because you never know what a person's been through. You never know a person's testimony. So,
So, you've mentioned missions, some personal missions that are outside of the medical field and outside of the beauty and aesthetic field, and homeless. We, in California now they call them houseless. I don't know the freaking difference. I'm old and I'm cranky with all these alphabets and changes. You don't have a place to live, you're homeless. You know what I mean? Or,
oh, I understand.
you feel me? Okay. All right. So I'm trying to be political, but it's my show. I don't have to be,
I understand.
you know. So you haven't found yet, what I understand you to be saying, what I hear you to be saying is that you haven't found yet an organization to connect with on a major level in California yet, or in Marietta. Now, are you a commuter or do you live in your community that your business services? I'm
I
not
live,
trying to get your business out there or get you doxxed. Don't trip.
you're gonna get me some visitors.
No. Never mind. Scratch the question. Okay. Scratch the question. Never mind. Um, I wasn't trying to be nosy. And it was really an innocent question. I really wasn't trying to be like that. Okay. But, because I say that because, a lot of people will live in Beverly Hills and their
Oh,
practice is down in LA or, whatever, however, Woodland Hills somewhere or something. You know what I mean?
that,
So I that's why I asked.
that
Um,
was about really, I know it was very innocent.
okay, I'm glad.
Mm.
But you're not just local, you're making a national presence. Um, did I see something that you were talking about something outside of the country? Did I have you confused with me? No. um, I could be. Anyway, so you also have a clinic. It shows in well, look, it's Care First Wellness Med Spa, 24837 Jefferson Avenue, Suite 210, Marietta, California. This is a full service med spa. They can get you taken care of. At least someone who's empathetic, who has witnessed a lot of things and has a calm demeanor to help you get through it. Whether it's with her specifically, her clinic specifically, or a referral to a tool or resource that you need, she's that person. She's that hub in the middle of a wheel with a bunch of spokes. And that's how we're going to keep rolling. So, Dr. Natasha Weems, is there anything that you wanted to cover that I may have neglected? And I want to say thank you, and I'm grateful that you allow me to be silly and goofy from time to time, and you tolerate me because I'm not going to change, so it wouldn't matter anyway. But is there anything you wanted to cover that I may have neglected?
Just really putting myself in a position to utilize my platform to reach others. And like I said, I've met some amazing people. I just met someone by the name of Alan Shea out here as well, and just like a powerful conversation about generational wealth and really having an impact and knowing your history. And it's just like you just never know how those people that you meet or those conversations that resonate with you, and it gives you a whole different reason to just get back up and keep going and go even harder, work even harder. So I'm just making myself open to opportunities. And like you said, Dr. Natasha _ I'm available if you want to reach out. Care First Wellness. You can call at 858 200 5746, and we provide services in Detroit as well. So
Right.
yeah, patients there as well. But it's just been very rewarding, and this journey and chapter of my life I'm so excited about, and just meeting new people and using my platform to encourage others. But I've been working on some projects, and I'm really excited to really talk about them, eventually. And
Does that mean you'll come back?
yes,
Oh,
I really working on a project that I'm excited about, and I'll talk to you about off camera.
okay, not a problem. Well, in that case, she says she's ready to get off the camera. I want to get these tidbits, and I promise that I will respect any embargo or non-disclosure requirements that you have. I won't talk about it. I won't add it into the article. I will, however, uh, provide a fanboy article because I am a fan. I haven't met you other than hear video, but I'm just watching your work from the outside looking in. And I know that you're someone that inspires others, and we need a larger group of people with the same intestinal fortitude to move through these educational programs, begin their own businesses. I will say this, I'm not a conversationalist on generational wealth, but what I am is one of those who will point out areas like 5 Points in Denver, who will point out Nicodemus in Kansas, who will point out Tulsa, the Black Wall Street, who will remind you that in a time in Harlem, we had to have our own bank. The first Black bank in the United States was created in Harlem by Jackie Robinson. The first Black construction company was created in Harlem by Jackie Robinson. When we couldn't get service from outside our own community, we built our own. We're so powerful that they've attacked, burned, raped, pillaged our communities as we've developed and shown that we taught you what you're doing for yourself. We don't need to ask them for anything. We can come together as a collective. We've proven it, we've done it, and I'm not about the money, I'm about the power. I'm gonna end it with that. Time Magazine Live Sessions, Dr. Natasha, Care First Wellness Med Spa, and other initiatives. Support the Lioness. She's putting in the work, and she's sharing the knowledge. She's not holding it to herself. She's trying to ensure that we, as a human community, not just Black, but just like doctors have specialties in their medical field, she got that Black specialty. So make sure that our women are prepared, if at all possible, that we're somebody who can lean on, somebody with proven intestinal fortitude, proven integrity. Thank you for your service. Thank you for supporting your military spouse. It's a very difficult job, and we appreciate you as veterans. Until next time, Dr. Natasha.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
As an artist, we should reflect the time.
Why you so talented?
'Cause I'm black.
Why you so amazing?
'Cause I'm black.
It's really important that we build characters so that people understand their story matters.
2 Chainz and I both are just really into good food.
And when you know you are royalty, you will only aim in life to be royalty.
We're doing it right now. I don't give a damn what they say about me. Yes, I called your ass out. I know I shouldn't be saying this kind of.
Shout out to Hype Magazine Network.
Shout out to the Hype Magazine Network.